once again, live and direct. Justin Scott here from 876 Invest. I'm here with my colleagues, Nicholas Dundas, Ian Vidal, and we have a very special guest for you here today, guys. We have the co-founder and CEO of Provement Management Limited, Mr. Chris Williams. Chris, tell us what's up.
Big up, big up, big up, big up, big up. Greetings, good night, everybody. It is my pleasure to be here with you guys tonight. Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy Sunday.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Before we go anywhere, guys, just want to remind you all to like, subscribe, share these videos with your friends. Go a very long way, all right?
Man, just comment, share with your friends, let them know what's going on right here, right now. Comment anything you guys would like to hear, anything you want for future meetings, any future investor sessions, just let us know, all right? So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, Chris, first thing we really want to ask you, right? So you have the title of being co-founder and CEO of Proven, and Proven kicked off around 2009, 2010. So what was the financial space like at the time, and what really drove you to really decide that, this is where you wanted to take your career,
Yeah. Well, the evolution of yourself as an individual, allows you to establish certain goals. And, I had always had a goal involved in an entrepreneurial venture. And around about 2008, 2009, I hit my 40th birthday. And, that kind of, was a awakening moment in my life. And I wanted to make some life-changing decisions throughout that time. And and I felt that one of the decisions I wanted to make was to take a shot at an entrepreneurial venture. So spent the time going through various opportunities. I knew that I wanted it to be in the financial services space because that was where my training was and all my experience. And so I looked at just the market presence and what I felt was missing. And at the time, the world was going through the financial sector meltdown of 2008, and that was leading to essentially a recession and a depression, and the result of that was that a lot of capital left the region and went back onshore North America. And being involved in the financial services space at that time, I kind of felt that this was an opportunity for Caribbean nationals to step up and provide a platform for the provision of capital. Given that there was this exodus, so there was a gap. So having had a great experience in my working life with Darren Bunting and Golden, I felt that a conversation with the principals of Darren Bunting and Golden would have been a good conversation to have. So I had a chat with Peter Bunting, Mark Golden, and Gary Sinclair, and coming out of that conversation, there was the evolution of Proven, and we named it Proven because that era was just so uncertain. There was the whole meltdown, and there were within the local space there was a lot of unregulated investment schemes, like the cash pluses and the all-ins and so on. You guys probably too young to know about them things, but these unregulated schemes really had disrupted the financial market locally, And so we felt that we wanted to step into the space, letting people know that we had the backative, we had the know-how, we had the governance, we had the competence to execute a solid financial services platform. And we felt like the best way to do that was to represent it in our name. And that's how we came up with the name Proven.
So was this something that was just solely an opportunity that you took, or was it like, did you always love finance? Was it like your first love? Something that you always saw yourself doing?
When I came, I studied I did UA, and then after UA, I worked for 2 years in consulting at KPMG, and then I went off and did my MBA in Toronto. And while in Toronto, I felt that marketing was my true calling, and brand marketing. So I really wanted to be brand manager for either Sandals or Red Stripe, and those were my passions. And in fact, I happened upon investment banking because when I applied to Red Stripe, the individual that I applied to, which was a gentleman by the name of OK Melhedo, he happened to own a bank. So he was senior vice president at Red Stripe, but he was also an investor in a investment bank, in a merchant bank. So he introduced me to the concept of investment banking, and recommended, having interviewed me, he recommended that space for me, given my skill set and so on. And in fact, sent me up from Spanish Town Road, where Red Stripe is, to New Kingston to meet with the CEO of the bank, and that's how I ended up in banking. And I thank him, to this day, because it is a wonderful profession. It is a great career choice, and it is a critical life skill. Money management. I always said to my kids that they must know health and wealth. Those are the two life lessons that they must have good knowledge of, no matter what their career is, whether they're a pilot, doctor, lawyer, Indian chief. They must have a good understanding of how to manage their health and how to manage their wealth. And so I felt that it is a great space and a great career, and I haven't looked back since, and I've loved every minute. I feel like I work for free. I feel like I work for, I mean, it's I just love this. This is not working. I haven't worked a day in my life.
Yeah, man, I definitely understand that because, like, with us, finance is like pretty much our everyday. So, like, as soon as we get up Monday morning right through to Friday, market, 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 market. When JC lock NYC, innocent, straight.
Yeah,
so,
man.
like, it even feel like work. It's just what we do every day, and we just have that system and makes us better for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And as I said, it is a critical life skill. It's just like knowing how to cross the road and how to drive a car, and there are certain skills that you just must have in life. And one of those is how to manage money. And because it's just always around us. So I love it, and I recommend it to everybody. I think we must all be participating in these podcasts and these lives and so on, so that we're always learning the language of money.
Absolutely. All right, so pushing out from that now. So Proven started fresh out of the 2009 financial crisis, and flash forward now, 10 years later, here we are back again in something completely novel for our lifetimes. Right into coronavirus. So, what's been your experience through proven so far? Like any downsides and things that you guys had to navigate around. So, what's it been like?
Boy, let me tell you something. Um, Justin, you have to work out every day. You have to work out every day. You have to work out. You have to drink water. You have to stay fit. You understand? Because this world of of money management is not for the faint of heart. You know, throughout
Already.
the years, we have gone through all kinds of crises. We had H1N1 before this. We had we had the oil crisis. We had hurricanes. We have terrorism, ISIS, and so on. So throughout our 10 years, we've been exposed to several. We had IMF and all of that. We've been exposed to several exogenous shocks that come about, whether because of weather, geopolitical, health. There are just various reasons why your money management trajectory is thrown off, and so you really have to be on top of your game and to manage your emotional state very carefully so that you try and stay calm and try and not react to every shock that happens. That's been the number one lesson that certainly I have learned, over the last 10 years, and I'm so grateful to have partnered with Bunting and Golden and Sinclair, because they have helped keep the emotional roller coaster under control, and allowed us to stay on our toes and to stay ready for opportunities. So, what 10 years have taught me is that, boy, emotional intelligence is probably the top intellectual talent that you need. Yes, you need the technical understanding of PE and projections and cash flow and all of that, but because you're exposed to so many shocks, and the news media is so prevalent and so on the second, and that results in driving panic, and panic results in driving bad investment decisions. You have to really try and manage your headspace. That's been my top lesson. The second lesson is that we live in a great period in history. The evolution of technology and how it is changing the world and how we operate, and therefore how businesses operate, and therefore wealth opportunities is historic. And I really think that this is a great time for you guys, you young kids, to come through. I mean, just look at the popularity of 876 Invest, not being on any traditional media, just utilizing the smartphone, and how that has allowed you to to generate a huge following. That was unheard of, back in my time. And so that allows you to change the game literally overnight. And so that means that companies and individuals have to stay on their toes. They have, that's why I say you have to work out every day. You have to drink your water. You have to slim and nimble, because this world, you go to bed one night, and it's Sunday, and you wake up and it's Friday. So, it just moves. So you really have to stay on your game. So that's the the emotional intelligence and understanding that we're at a historic evolution of mankind right now. And just being in the middle of that, that's what's been great for me, and I just love it. I just want to stay up all night. I just can't get enough of it. It's really exciting, and I spend a lot of time, with young people. I have a 22-year-old son, so him and his friends and so on, and consume all of you guys, energy, and I do a lot of mentoring up at JC, and that allows me to stay in the mix, and it's just great. So so it's been 10 great years. It's been 10 great years. I'm managing the emotional intelligence, trying to stay calm, and then at the same time staying in the reality, staying in the reality and accepting the reality and loving it. That's been my experience over the last 10 years.
It sounds like because of your experience and the emotional intelligence that you've grown over the years, that this pandemic has done nothing to you. Like for me, it's my first experience. I haven't been through a pandemic before or a global crisis before, so no one's gonna feel the pain. And I've already been through that, and it's like you're unscathed. It's crazy to me. This is
Yeah,
just
you catch me off guard,
Yeah.
yeah.
What I would say to you is, this is creating opportunities, because you really want. I remember when in our early days, whenever a hurricane would come and hit the Caribbean, we would be huddling. Sometimes even in the middle of the hurricane, we would be huddling in meetings, trying to identify where exactly the hurricane would hit, and therefore the fact that those bond prices would pretty much collapse as a result of that hurricane hit. And so we would be buying those bonds at that time, because the crisis just creates that panic, and that panic just creates bad investment decisions, and you just want to take advantage of those bad investment decisions. So we were always in the middle of the hurricane. We were always like huddled around, around the candle, so I mean, trying to get through to New York, trying to understand what's going on with the bond prices for Trinidad, or for Bahamas, or if it was to hit Jamaica, and we would be buying, pick up bonds at like 70 cents on the dollar, and then within a year you sell it back for 100 cents on the dollar. So you kind of get used to having gone through so many crises in living in the Caribbean. You kind of get used to the reality that the truth is the world will continue, and so, as I say, you manage your emotional intelligence, you try to stay grounded, and you look beyond the trees and above the forest, and look for the opportunities. That's what I would recommend that you do. I mean, obviously you've seen that, because during the meltdown in March, the number one decision March last year, the number one decision that you would have made is to buy, and less than 1 year later, you would be up, in some cases, 200%. So manage your emotional intelligence, and recognize that there will be a tomorrow. So look for who you think will survive, and buy, so stay calm, stay emotionally stable during a crisis.
That's great. That's great.
But don't forget the lesson of this pandemic. Don't forget that lesson. Etch it into your mind for the rest of your life, because guaranteed, 5 years from now or 10 years from now, you're going to hit another crisis. And I want you to remember this feeling, and remember this panic, and suck it up. Because you're going to panic again. But suck it up and take the pain and stay calm and look for the opportunity.
Chris, you just gave us a lot to take in just now. I just want to touch on something a little bit more specific. Were your business lines such as the Dream Entertainment business affected at all? Because since it's in the entertainment industry, how was it affected during this?
Yeah, we have had a number of our investment portfolio businesses affected. We split ourselves into four main opportunities. For the first and the easier one is the tradable securities. That's what's listed on a public exchange, whether it be the Jamaica Stock Exchange or the New York or NASDAQ, etc. The second one is real estate. The third one is private equity financial services. And the fourth one is private equity real sector. In private equity real sector, we have learned two things. Firstly, we got hit with Dream because obviously entertainment, got locked down. Carnival wasn't able to keep last year, and this year looking rocky. So we have to take our hit during that. The good thing about it is that we've tested that brand, and the brand is alive. The brand is alive. The brand of Exodus Carnival, the brand of Dream Weekend is still strong. We're keeping it alive with digital media posts and so on. And so we expect that when it does reopen, it's going to reopen with a bang. Because of all the pent-up demand and so on. So we're actually going through the process of making sure that we're ready for the big rush in 2022. The other thing that we learned on the real sector was that basic foods and so on has responded and would respond very well in these situations. And so what we did is we made a private equity play in a margarine/feed mill in Barbados, and we announced that acquisition in January, and so we're positioning ourselves to balance out the hit of a crisis. So we get hit on the entertainment side, but our basic food side we expect would jump, and so would balance us out. On the financial services space, Access Financial, we're major shareholder with 25% of Access, and that was hit. Those are payday loans, and a lot of our clients would have been working in the tourism sector and would have been laid off during this period. So we've had to restructure a lot of those loans and to carry that during this time. So that hit there. All the other entities, our wealth management entity, Proven Wealth, JMB, we're the largest shareholder in JMB, IFP, and Basel Bank in St. Lucia have all held up well. So we haven't had any additional issues in those entities. And then real estate has surprisingly remained extremely strong. We expected some significant cancellations on our flagship development Via at Braemar, which you'll see when you drive through New Kingston, you see that big green. The out of it looks green right now, but that's not the final color. But that's our flagship development, and those sales have held up very nicely. And all our other developments, we have two developments here on Millsboro Avenue, and those are strong and holding up very nicely. So real estate hasn't been very bad. Tradables has been very good because, as I discussed earlier, there was the opportunity where the markets fell off in March, April 2020 and has rebounded significantly. So we were able to pick up some opportunities in the tradable space and register some gains on those securities. So that was, you know, that was able to balance us out and to, in fact, give us some uptick in profits for the last year. So, you know, I think the key to it is coming out of this is that you really want to try and, as much as possible, ensure that your portfolio is balanced. So, you know, if one goes down, one goes up, and can keep your performance relatively stable. So that's what we've tried to do by injecting that opportunity in Barbados with the margarine and the feed company.
That's great. That's great. I think lead to it. Because I know right now there are a whole heap of opportunities that are arising from COVID. As you say, like wherever a crisis strikes, is always that somewhere to really capitalize on and push forward. And even things like, as you say, you know, you have real estate, you're going on further and further. There's your development that you guys have over in Mandeville, right?
Yes, right.
So, you know, with the adaptations to the highways over there, the South Coast Highway, you know, we'll be having a lot better roads over there. So, you know, things are looking even brighter on that side. But
yeah,
what I want to know is, like, what's your opinion on moving away from Kingston and, like, you know, kind of decentralizing away from it, providing opportunities over there? Like, what really needs to be done for us to really spread further out, you know, and develop the rest?
If you take a look at the conversations with the major trading entities, whether it be a Grace or, you know, a T. Geddes Grant or a Derrimon or whatever, if you had conversations with them, you will begin to realize that they're seeing a lot of uptick in sales for their products outside of the corporate area, in the communities right across Jamaica. And frankly, if you just drive through Jamaica, and whether it be on the north coast or on the south coast, you see a lot of communities now popping up with you know, with the KFC and with the banks and with the government office and so on. So we have mini towns developing right across the country. So you know, people are beginning to accept that Jamaica is bigger than Kingston and St. Andrew and St. Catherine. And so they are, you know, spreading out. And by spreading out, they're going to want the same level of commercial and residential comforts that you will experience in Kingston 6. So we are seeing significant demand for, you know, whether it be a plaza, or whether it be a residential gated community, or whether it be an apartment complex with, you know, with bells and whistles of a, you know, pool and clubhouse and so on. We're seeing demand for those types of developments significantly outside of Kingston. So yes, we are extremely focused on those areas, and we're very excited about the Mandeville because of the and we did anticipate that you know, the Mandeville uptick would happen because of the highway and because of the climate of Mandeville, and so it does you know, get a significant amount of demand for residents. And so you know, we brought a Kingston 6 type development into Central Mandeville, and yes, we're going to be doing exactly that, you know, in other areas of Kingston and in fact the Caribbean. As you know, we are also doing a townhouse development called lagoons on the lake in Cayman, and that's been doing very well. We haven't started construction yet, and we've already moved 40% of the units. So we recognize that the Caribbean society is developing, and they want the creature comforts. Pretty much once you get the banking and the government office and the KFC, the housing going follow right after. So you just basically chug along behind KFC. Where would them go? Wherever them go, we'll follow behind them.
Okay. And they also have the other side of things over to Portland, where they're developing that highway as well.
Right. That's next, and that's going to be huge, because that's not coming from the St. Thomas side. That's not very far from Kingston.
Exactly.
So that's going to be huge. That's going to be some huge demand as well. The road network is a critical part of spreading development across the island. It's been proven all around the world. If you want to drive economic development across the country, then you have to do that through the road network. And we've seen that with Highway 2000 on the South Coast, and then subsequently North-South Highway. That has also done very, very well. That has made Ocherius, a lunchtime stop. So so we're very excited on the real estate side. We're very excited. I mean, but we take that excitement in measured doses, because let's not forget we're in the middle of a pandemic, and that pandemic has hit our major sector very hard, right? And so we are seeing a slowdown. We are seeing a contraction in GDP, and that contraction will affect aggregate demand for some of our products. So we are within the context of the pandemic. We're not, I wouldn't say we're going hard. I would say we're spotting opportunities, but we're not going hard. If we get a good deal, we take it. But if it's not a good deal, we're sitting tight.
Yeah.
I mean, with that being said, how long do you think it will take tourism to rebound?
Oh yeah, definitely. 'Cause, like, as soon as I hear that, tourism is the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah.
Like some.
Let me tell you, I still feel V-ish. I still feel like it will be a V, right? But let me not say V. Let me say U. I feel like it will be a U, because the plateau at the bottom is a little bit longer than we would have liked. The V would have meant you drop, bounce, and come right back up. That's the V. The U, you hit a plateau and then come up, right? You hit at the bottom and then come up. And so we're at the bottom, and it's looking like we're going to stay at the bottom, certainly until late 2021. Because of the pace of the vaccinations across the world, and locally, because the reality is that until the local community reaches herd status, the government is still going to have to implement some controls to minimize the impact on the local community. Now, I do think we don't necessarily need to have herd status on the entire population. It could be herd status on the vulnerable population, which is, let's say 60 and over, as well as those with comorbidities. So if you pull out 60 and over, plus you pull out those with comorbidities, you probably get to 1 million people. And so if you focus on that million first, and get 65, 70%, of that million, or even 100% of that million first, then we may be able to hit that million in 2021, and therefore be able to open up our borders a lot more aggressively. So I'm still optimistic on a winter, a solid 21-22 winter, and I do expect it to bounce. I do expect literally demand to switch right back on the minute people are vaccinated and Jamaica is vaccinated. So people will feel comfortable coming to Jamaica and having their vacations. So I'm not panicking. I think 21, 22, 23 we'll see significant rebounds and be back to 2019 numbers very quickly.
And I like to point out that you think that will be rebound and go back to 2019 numbers. Do you also think it's a good time for Jamaica to take advantage of our location as a logistics hub, or potentially advance those plans that we had?
Well, it is now showing to be critical, because we need diversification in our revenues. Because this pandemic shows you that you can stop human travel but keep cargo travel going and still be making money. So we need that diversification in our P&L, the country's P&L. So the movement of cargo is something we have to zone in on just as aggressively as we've done with tourism, and get it up and running and get it kicking. So again, you have to learn these lessons from the crisis. When you go through a crisis, you can't come out the same. You'd have wasted the crisis. So you go into this crisis, you have to come out saying, you have to call a meeting right away and say, listen, whatever the hell it takes, we want every ship to come through and stop, and stop in Kingston and refuel and restock and all of that. So that's no big priority, because we can't be totally dependent on the movement of human beings.
And I agree with you, because I think what we've seen, especially in the past year of the pandemic, I think China was the only country, or the only really large economy that grew. You understand. So I think we really need to take a page out of their book. I know that we have a lot of involvement with China, but I think studying certain aspects of how they handle situations would help us as well.
No, absolutely. Let me tell you something. We have to run a more disciplined society.
Completely agree.
That is clear coming out of the pandemic. When you take a look at Cayman, right next, a stone's throw away from us, no deaths. Nobody's wearing a mask. They already have vaccinated 32% of their population. They basically have gone through this, unscathed. So, and it's not all about economics, because we've seen it in a lot of the Asian countries, the Vietnams and so on, that have done very well. So it's not all about economics. Yes, richer countries will be able to handle it better, But as a society, we must accept that, if the prime minister says social distances, and when you go into a taxi, you must wear your mask. And then you see 10 taxi drive past and nobody's wearing their mask. What more you want the prime minister to do? I mean, if he set the rules and the guidelines and the protocols to protect us and to minimize it, and we're just not following those guidelines and those protocols. We have to get rid of that as a society. We have to get rid of that as a society. We can't say, boy, it's Jamaica people just unruly. That's crap. The same Jamaica people that are here unruly, when them land in New York and them go to them work, them have on them mask, and them, them follow them stop at the red light, them do everything.
Them stop from it yellow.
Stop from it yellow. You understand? So come on, we must respect our country a lot more. We must respect our country, and quarantine people come here, and them when them land in Florida, whatever, them quarantine. When them come to Jamaica, them not quarantine. As them come off of the plane, them touch a road. No, I'm not accepting that. No, that's disrespectful to what we've built as a nation. So again, lesson coming out of this pandemic is that we need more discipline individually. Take it on personally, and say, you're going to operate yourself in a more disciplined manner.
Absolutely. And I think one of the most important things we can take from the pandemic is something that we barely touched, and we kind of just dashed away: work from home. There really should be a better work from home culture within Jamaica, because you can't have a situation where, traffic is as bad as it is, situations are as bad as it is. We have the capabilities, at least in some parts, where we can, set up connections, connectivity. People can do the same work that they can from home. You don't need to stand up behind anybody and look over them to try and ensure so them doing the work, when you can get the same thing done from home. Can save on company overheads. The people can, invest into maybe even more than one job at once. Well, as long as you can get the deliverables done, then what's the point? Then what's the.
No, for sure. That's a great example. That's one of the efficiency and productivity tools, because of the time that you would have taken in travel. Remove that time and that frustration. So it allows you to be able to execute your day a lot more efficiently and a lot more comfortably.
Yeah.
And so I mean, certainly for my team, we've been trying as best as possible to move all our businesses digital, and I think we've made some good progress, that are irreversible. So even when the pandemic is gone, we're going to stay digital. So a lot of our portfolio companies are doing that, and as I say, it's just way more efficient. When you're able to get through 3 or 4 meetings in a day, as opposed to 1 or 2, because you don't have to leave your office, go into a car, battle traffic, get to the meeting, try and find parking space, yada yada, and then do a half an hour meeting. Bam, just do it on Zoom and do it. So that lesson has been well learned, and and certainly, as a private sector leader, we're focused on implementing that lesson across all our various businesses, and that's that's one of the elements of the discipline that I'm speaking of, because what it means is that you're going to have to allow people to manage their days on their own, and demonstrate some self-discipline.
Right.
Actually going to be doing the job. So I like what that has taught, proven, and the rest of the private sector. So hopefully, we will continue to see those digitalization improvements.
Absolutely.
So with along with digitization, what else do you think is here to stay?
I think the focus on export is also here to stay, because one of the things that when you take a look at a Grace Kennedy as an example, and they demonstrated record profits. Uh, they were able to pivot and shift their business model to their external entities, that in societies that were able to operate on stronger aggregate demand, as opposed to focus on the local economy, which would have been under pressure. So that I think just talking to a number of the private sector leaders, that I think, I mean, when you look at Separate and you look at Grace, you look at a lot of the major trading companies, I'm very, very, very happy with how they've been able to pivot and been able to drive their P&L through demand from outside Jamaica.
Jam Teas have done that as well.
Jam Teas has done that as well. So I don't think that's definitely not going anywhere. Those directors and those owners are very excited by what they've been able to execute in their P&L. And myself as an investor, with those businesses, I'm very excited, and I think that that's here to stay, which is great, because the reality is we have at least equal population size outside of Jamaica, and that population size is at a higher per capita GDP than Jamaica. So it means that the aggregate demand from outside, just from Jamaicans, not even talking about our extended family of people that love Jamaica. Just from Jamaicans, our aggregate demand is greater than local demand. So our external aggregate demand. So I think that that lesson has been well learned. So as I said, when I talk to Don Webby at Grace and his team and all the others, as you said, Jam Teas and so on. I'm very, very, very encouraged by what those guys have been able to do, and I've been buying those companies, because they're now you're looking at a completely different ball game. I mean, don't even Supreme Ventures, is exporting the gambling. You know what I'm saying? And they've been doing a fantastic job. So I mean, that just puts Jamaican companies in a completely different position. Before you would be seeing 2% and 3% growth per annum. Now they're growing by 10 and 20%. Easily, which just moves the valuation a lot quicker. So there's some good gems. Lasco, there's some good gems. Wisynco, there's some good products that we know people in New York, Atlanta, London, they're just craving for.
And one of the major things I think is that the pandemic has so accelerated many things that we should have been focusing on from before, such as digital work, exports. Something that we have stressed in this country for a very long time. So to see it actually picking up now, it's a bit refreshing.
It's really you really feel now like you're a part of the real world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you go to Miami and see a friend, or sit down and bam make an order, and by the next day it's in them fridge. You understand? And you'll be like, what the hell? You have to get up and drive on the road, stand up in a line, and all of that. But even more importantly is the fact that our products are able to be in their fridge, in 24 to 48 hours. Now that is a game changer, and so I'm very excited about it. As I said, that just moves the trajectory for Jam Teas and a Derrimon and you know and Sepra, that just moves the needle for them, you know, to make the current valuations look like a joke, you know,
Yeah,
because
I mean, you saw Derman's acquisition recently.
yeah, Derrimon is now in New York heavily. You know, Separate is blowing it out of the water in the last 2 quarters. You know, Grace is just, you know, is just smashed it, and it's, they feel that it's you know, it's sustainable because, you know, it's all from their international markets, and you know, and then you combine that with a devaluing dollar, so it means that their income in Jamaican dollars is even going up even more because they, you know,
Mhm.
this US earnings. So it's an exciting time. It's for some of the companies, for the staple companies, you know, it's an exciting time. So real sector businesses are, you know, are top play right now. Real sector businesses.
Oh,
Financial services businesses not so much because of the fact that, you know, interest rates are so low. Assets, you know, risk-free assets are earning zero. So it's very difficult for you to you know, to make a spread, you know, when you're running a financial services business. But you know, so balance your portfolio. Have a mix of both. You know.
Absolutely, you know, because like right now the ball game is fully open right across the region. People not even focusing on Jamaica as much as you said. You know, so whether it be within the region, Latin American countries, over further out in the small eastern islands, or out in US, in the UK markets and so forth, you know. So it's a whole lot going on over there.
Yeah. That's a good time. It's a good time. Buy Jamaica, and it's not just buy Jamaica. It's not just buy Jamaica message to Jamaicans. It's
Hmm.
buy Jamaica message hitting the New York man. You know, So yeah, man. Good time. Good time. As I said, crisis. Look for the opportunities. Look for stay emotionally intelligent. You know, survive. You know, do what it takes to survive. You know, and then once you survive, you look for opportunity. So, you know, put yourself in a position to survive first, and then, you know, move from there.
Absolutely, and I know that's really heating your competition as well.
Well, I still think that our competition is pales in comparison to demand globally for our products. You know, I mean, how many Grace Kennedys do we have? You know what I'm saying? You know, you may have one other, if so much. You know, it's not like, you know, if we had like 10, then, you know, then you would see the you know, the level of competition, you know, that you see internationally. But you know, it's still, you know, it's still an easy trod for Grace, you know, because there are not a lot of entities, you know, at their size that are out there, you know, knocking on doors of Walmart and so on, you know, and getting their products wide scale distributed. So it's still virgin territory in the Caribbean. I mean, Jamaica is way ahead of the rest of the Caribbean. I mean, down in Barbados where we went. I mean, the business we bought, Roberts. I mean, they're the only ones. You know, so
Mhm. Oh,
it's
touch. I wanted to touch on that point too. You speaking about the real sector and
Mhm.
your acquisition in Barbados in Roberts Manufacturing.
Right.
What? Because I do think that the business, especially in the Caribbean, is in its infancy. As I said, there's really not that much Grace Kennedys around. You know, there have been attempts by other companies such as JP with their ventures into Europe, right? But it still can be much more expanded or much more deep rooted in these other areas. So, what other areas in the real sector do you think we can be looking to expound on or expand into at this time?
I think beverage is an area that I still think we have an opportunity in, uh, and you know, an alcoholic beverage, you know, given the nature of the Caribbean. I still think, food brands, as I said, and I think Grace is running. So the top brands are all the distributors. So it's Lasco, Deramon, Tea Geddes Grant, etc. So the top food brands are also the top distributors. So there are opportunities to either get in on a small distributor, whether that distributor is Deramon, or whether it's one of the other distributors that are that hopefully will come public shortly, and therefore will wrap their label on the mackerel and the corned beef and the tomato sauce and so on, and the hot pepper sauce and so on, so that can go into the markets as well. I think that there's space there. I love the entertainment space. I think that when you take a look at certainly the summer, it is entertainment that drives hotel stays in Jamaica and the region. When you take a look at Trinidad, when you take a look at Jamaica in April, it's Carnival. So I think entertainment, but vertically integrated. So if it means that you're also selling the room package, you're selling the costume, you're selling the party tickets, so you vertically integrate it as much as possible. So you widen your spread. So those are moves that I think Dream will make over the next 2 to 3 years, and expanding other brands. Those areas, financial services as well is not dead, because there are diaspora that want to invest in Jamaica and in the region, and so it's not just the culture and the food and the drink that they want to consume. They also feel, just like you and I, that there are tremendous opportunities in Jamaica and in Trinidad and in Barbados and so on. So they're sitting down in New York and they're looking at their 401k and they're cussing and saying, they would prefer if their 401k was invested in Grace as opposed to, in Walmart shares. So there are opportunities to cross list a lot of the entities that we have here. So their 401k applicable, and therefore can drive investments, because a lot of the diaspora people, their main investment instrument is the 401k. They don't have a lot of investable monies outside of their 401k, so you have to get the investment able to be invested through the 401k. So that's an opportunity for financial services businesses to take bigger companies cross-listed into special purpose vehicles overseas. So that will open up more revenue for financial services entities locally. And then of course real estate. No matter how long they're away for, and they work overseas, so they want dead and bury in Jamaica or in Trinidad or in Barbados. So they all want a house to come back to. So real estate remains an attractive opportunity. So there are about 5 or so industries that we like, that I just outlined. So I think there are a couple.
All right. And there's one question that we've been getting like a whole lot of, we've been getting a whole lot of questions about it. People always asking. And for example, you look at things like BOJ talking about that they're testing out the new digital dollar coming up. People really been asking, will Proven be one of the first investment firms to address cryptocurrency, for example?
Boy, that sound The asset class of, I mean, there are two ways to look at it. One is whether you're going to launch your own cryptocurrency, or two is whether you're going to create a vehicle that allows people to invest in it. I'm not yet convinced that it is an appropriate store of value. So when you take a look at the store of value instruments, gold, silver, diamond, those instruments don't really hold any don't really pay any interest, but they hold the value. And the reason why they obviously they obviously, people obviously feel that they're holders of value is because of the difficulty in getting in getting the gold, the silver, the diamond, in that it's a natural resource and it's in limited quantities and so on. So supply is limited. So as a result of that, it holds value and so over the long term. So I'm not as convinced on the cryptocurrency, but we're looking at it. We're looking at it because clearly, we've been saying this since it was down at $2,000. Yeah, so, and it bounces around, but it's been bouncing around, going up. So it's something that we have to give some due consideration. But in terms of actually creating our own, no, we're not. We're not looking to create our own. But in terms of putting an instrument together, right now you can utilize our international platform, and you can buy an ETF that's exposed to it. But in terms of making it a unit trust or a mutual fund or so on, not at this time. But you can come in, open an account, at Proven Wealth, and trade on the international platform in that ETF.
So what about using it? You spoke about the fact that the gold and silver had limited supply, but that's also the same case for Bitcoin. And I mean, there are many arguments that can be made for, well, other cryptocurrencies as well. Many arguments can be made for why it is suitable or not suitable as a store of value. But I just want to know if it is something that you think Proven could consider outside of an investment vehicle. So there's one side of it where you can allow investors to buy an ETF or to create a unit trust, but then there's also, if you want to make it 1% of Proven's cash reserve in cryptocurrency, if that's something you guys would consider.
No, we're not. I mean, not at this time. It's too volatile. It's too volatile for us. And as I said, 1% is nothing. So it's not that significant that it would move our P&L, and it's too volatile for us. So but we're open to continuing to analyze it. I mean, we're not closing the door, because as I said, we've been saying this, and while we're saying this, it has been moving up. So clearly there is some amount of traction that is taking place. Have we responded to the traction yet? No, we haven't. But that doesn't mean we've ruled it out. No, we haven't. We haven't ruled it out, but it's just not something that we're allocating funds to at this time.
All right, understood. Okay, I think that's all we had per se by this point. Then now, I know the guys in the audience have been waiting quite some time now for some of their questions to be answered, so can get straight through to those, answer a few questions, and we'll see how far we can go. All right, so the first question is, how would you choose between a career that pays well and a career that you're passionate about but pays subpar?
Well, let me tell you something. And I may be controversial on this, but and it's something that I've had difficulty selling. but for me personally, I prioritize financial independence. Uh, so so my my happiness and my mental comfort cannot be achieved without financial independence. You know, that's just how I became for whatever reason. So I prioritized financial independence. So I would go the route of the career that gives me financial independence. And then for um, you know for the satisfaction, that's what they call a hobby. And so after 5 I will do my hobby. So I really think that if I was born like 20 or 30 years later, I would have been an international footballer. You know what I mean? It's just that, the coach them never really understand my talent, back in my day. So so as a result of that, my passion and thing would have been to, go play ball. But at the time, I recognized that that would not have given me financial independence. So I pick up my book, and so now when we done work, we run up football factory and we display my messy like talent. You know what I'm saying? So
It's a real hard player thing,
what's that?
A real work hard player kind of switch off,
Yeah. That's my. So I make sure my financial ducks in a row, so I can I'm a vex money. I can do what I want, and then what I want is what keeps me happy. Go play some ball, give back to society, mentor up at JC, do the things that make me happy.
Yeah. All right. Next one is, what kind of investing do you recommend for someone who doesn't really pay attention to the stock market?
All right. Let me tell you my model that I developed at JC. My model is that you try to drive financial independence in 3 ways. Brain. So I focused on my career and my books and everything, and try to evolve myself in my 9 to 5 in my career. Brawn, which is my side hustle, which was either setting up a little moving business on the weekend, or buy and sell stuff, or throwing parties. You see, I had your side hustle. So that's the second, and then the third is having partnerships, what I call bread. So it's brain, brawn, and bread. Now, bread is the cash, right? So you through your brain, you work and you get paid. You get paid, you live below your means, and therefore you generate investable monies. Invest that investable monies in partnership with others. So I'm actually right now in several partnerships. I'm in partnership with Jeff Bezos. Jeff may not know that I'm in partnership with him, right? Jeff may not know me. Yes, but I'm actually in partnership with him. I mean, he and I are running Amazon, and what's the guy's name at Apple? The CEO now. What's his name?
Tim Cook, your name, right?
Yeah, Tim Cook.
Tim, right? Tim. So I'm in partnership with him as well. I'm in partnership with Don Webby in Grace. I'm in partnership with British American Tobacco in Carreras. I'm obviously in partnership with Bunting in Proven. So I feel that you must develop those three avenues for moving your financial independence. And so to your question, I'm saying there are two other avenues. One is to grow your career, and the second is to have a side hustle. But I'm saying to you as well, don't ignore the stock market. I'm not accepting that. You must. These are businesses that you can be in partnership with, and these are good businesses. So if you were able to own Grace Kennedy, if magically could snap a finger and be the owner of Grace Kennedy, wouldn't you take it? So you would take 100%, but you wouldn't take one. No. So I'm taking one. And if I get 100, I'll take it as well. But I'm still taking the one. So I'm saying, do operate according to those three strategies: grow your career, grow your side hustle, grow your investing, grow your partnerships. As I say, I'm in partnership with GM. I'm no longer in partnership with Elon Musk because I bailed on that partnership. I bailed on that partnership, but you develop your partnerships. That's one avenue for generating wealth. There are two others, as I said, but those are. I'm not accepting that you should ignore the stock market. I'm not accepting that. That's not acceptable.
All right. What's your opinion on investing in agriculture in the current economic climate?
Well, we just did. We invested in Roberts in Barbados, which is a feed mill, which is as you can see from the crisis, your ability to feed your population is now of national security importance, right? Because countries lock down their supply and protect their own. So you no longer can just simply say, I have money, so I'll just import it. That what happens when the person said, I'm not sell you. So agriculture is critical, and as Grace Kennedy has demonstrated, as Jamaica producers have demonstrated, it is a space that can generate significant profits, and it is a very stable market space. Now, obviously, it has a lot of risks, primarily weather. So you have to go about investing in it very, very carefully. But as I said, we just spent a lot of money buying into it in Barbados. So we think for sure it's there. That's a difficult side hustle to execute, but is a side hustle that I would recommend that you look at, because it's very, very strong. So what it means is that you have to look at products that can that have good turnovers, good market demand, etc. But it's a good side hustle to look at. There are not a lot of publicly listed entities that are focused on that space. Separate, has also done well in it. So there are some companies you can partner with and invest in, and it's also a good side hustle to look at for sure.
All right, so this one says, how much further do you think real estate has to go, given the explosive growth in the last 2 years? Do you think housing in corporate area is overpriced? Well,
all right. Well, I'm obviously biased, all right? Because I'm probably the wrong person to ask this question, because I have a lot of money exposed to housing in the corporate area.
Yeah.
But I think the demand I think the demand is solid. I think the demand is solid. Is it growing, and will it drive further price appreciation? Um, Probably not, because of certainly because of the pandemic. Uh, but it's certainly, but I don't think it's a bubble. I don't think I don't think that, it's going to collapse. I don't think it's going to collapse. So my position has always been, I'd buy real estate whenever I can afford it. I mean, I have two kids, so even if it's not as an investment, um, even if it's not as an investment instrument, it's, I can give it to them, and tell them, get lost, So, so within that context, my investment in real estate personally is comfortable. But boy, let me tell you something. I mean, I've gotten this question, pretty much every year for the last 5 years. I remember when we sold our first set of apartments, for $10 million. People say, "What? Are you crazy? $10 million?" No, of course, as you have to stop drinking a couple latte as well. As you know, you have to stop drinking a couple latte as well to be able to afford our apartments. No, all I'm saying is, boy, I don't think you're going to lose. Are you going to make a lot of money? I don't know, but I definitely don't think you're going to lose. So and you have to live somewhere, so you have to pick it up.
All right. There's one more viewer question. So back to the remote working issue. What policies do you think are needed to transform the current changes to spur economic growth? And a lot of the high-rise office spaces become living accommodations.
No, I don't think we have to go there. I don't think we have an overpopulation of office spaces. I think, the private sector will make its decisions for itself. I don't think you need to, guide the private sector into that. I certainly know that, as I expand my business, I can now expand it without the pressure of increased physical infrastructure. Yeah, physical infrastructure. So that is welcoming to me. So that means that, I'd be hesitating about hiring 2 or 3 more people because I just wouldn't have this physical space. No, I just say, all right, I'll hire them, and they just work from home, and I just keep pushing my business. So I think the private sector is responding. I don't think we need to, policy, cement it. I think people have recognized that it can drive productivity, and efficiency. And so, I think it's here to stay. Certainly, as I said, within Proven, it's here to stay because, they don't have to battle the traffic, so now they can live comfortably in St. Catherine. I have people who have been living literally in Atlanta. I have members of staff who literally packed up and went to live in Atlanta with their mother, and the only reason them come back is because Atlanta get cold, them can't take the cold. But they've been, and they work from home, handle all kind of different things, everything, call them, morning, noon, and night, email, WhatsApp, and the truth is, I realized that I never really did see them anyway. So the fact that they were in an office 2 doors down from me, didn't really make much of a difference because I was never there. I was in traveling or in meetings or whatever. So So, and it's just been way more efficient. They've been very happy. They've been comfortable. They were able to spend time with their, their elderly parents, and and so, certainly for me, I don't need a policy. My team members have made it very clear to me that they'd like to, they're motivated, they're performing, and they'd like to maintain this work from home.
Yeah, man, I love that. And I really hope a lot more of the managers of the people in the private sector really take that cue, because I don't the way we do things is really just, oh well, we've always done it that way, rather than taking notes from the current situations and saying, okay, how can we tweak this? How can we make sure things work? How can we ensure we're getting all our deliverables? What are the consequences if people don't really follow up, and things like that. So we really should be taking cue from this and really maximizing our output and what we can be doing from within the company.
When you take a look at the top performing entities in the country, the most profitable companies and the larger companies, they're all there. They're all there. So I don't think you need to panic. They're all there. The NCBs, the Sagicors, the JMMBs, the Scotias, they're all there. So I don't think we need to, the Grace, they're all there. So I don't think we need to panic.
That's right. All right. Well, we're wrapping up just about now, and I think I'll leave the final question. Oh, wait.
I have one more question I wanted to ask. In terms of young persons in this COVID environment, what do you think? Oh, and also issues such as brain drain, like considering stuff like that, what do you think some of the skills that young persons would need now to develop quickly in this time?
Well, clearly your technical. When I say technical, your technological rather. Let me use that word. Your technological skills have to be A1. You have to be able to utilize all the project management softwares to ensure that you're able to operate seamlessly with your supervisors from wherever. So that's that's the first skill. And the second skill is the skill that I mentioned earlier, which is the self-discipline. I think a lot of the young people need to demonstrate a certain degree of maturity and a certain degree of independence, which frankly we get a lot of in the North American environment, because those kids move out a lot earlier, in my opinion, and go live either out of state to go to school and they just never come back home, or they because of the economic infrastructure, they're able to to get an apartment and move out a lot quicker. So that level of independence I want to see more of from the young people, and the self-discipline, so that they can assume more responsibility. And those are skills that are not the skills of are not book skills. I'm not trying to figure out if you can value the businesses better, or whether you can map the cash flows better, etc. I'm not trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure out your attitude and your ability to operate in the fourth revolution of technology. Obviously I'm not talking about social media, Instagram. I'm talking about all the productivity tools that exist, that allow you to to track your projects, and to upload your contribution to the project online without having to literally have somebody stand up over you. So that hard technology skill and that soft skill of self-discipline and independence, those are the top two that I think you want to take out of this pandemic and nail. You want to walk away and say, I feel like I'm 5 years older than I really am. That's how I want. That's what I want from you. You young buds. What was the other question? Was there another one, or that was it?
I think I'll leave that one to Mr. Nicholas Dundas to ask, eh?
All right, so we're coming to a close, and we want to give an 876 Invest exclusive, something that has never been told to the public before. So
Shit. Are you guys like you're like CNN? No, you know what I'm saying? Breaking news. I think the breaking news that I would say is that we expect to make an acquisition announcement within the next 10 days.
I'm gonna give you Very
you heard it here first.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
You guys heard it first.
Yeah. So look out for this.
Invest exclusive.
876 Invest exclusive. So look out for it.
Yeah, well, so we're at the 99th hour, and so I'm expecting signing, and stock exchange announcements.
That's beautiful, lovely. All right, guys. Well, guys, you kind of just have to subscribe right about now. Like, you never heard this anywhere before, so you know where you want to go to get all the market juiciness, all the good stuff. 876 Invest, right? Chris Williams, that's Chris, proven on all social media. Thanks so much for your time. We really appreciate it. I'm sure everyone here appreciates it, and we'll be definitely looking out for that breaking news, that acquisition. Right?
Keep up the good work, guys. I really want to congratulate you and thank you for the work that you guys have been doing in driving financial literacy. We want a better Jamaica, and for us to get a better Jamaica, we need 100 more butch stewards, and you guys are the backbones that will drive that. By just being more educated, more determined, more aggressive. I can feel it in the conversations with you guys. So I want to thank you for leading this revolution, and I want to encourage everybody to step forward and make the difference. Be the change that we want to see in Jamaica. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Like.
Thank you very much.
Comment, share with a friend, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another 876 Invest exclusive. You heard it here first. All right.
All right, guys. See you soon.
All right.